There are souls who walk this earth quietly, softly, yet when they enter a room, the entire atmosphere shifts. You feel it before they even speak. A calm, a peace, like a breeze that carries the scent of something holy. These are the chosen ones, souls born with a mission. Their energy heals, their presence comforts, and their hearts carry the light of something far beyond this world. They don't seek attention. They don't demand praise. But being near them feels like finding shelter in the middle of a storm. Like the world makes sense again, even if just for a moment. Yet here lies the paradox. The gentlest souls often carry the fiercest fire. The kindest hearts can become the most dangerous when betrayed or pushed too far. Why? Because their power doesn't come from ego, it comes from spirit. And when that spirit rises in defense of truth, nothing false can survive it. The energy of a chosen one is healing. It's like standing in the sun after years of cold. They don't even have to try. Their presence alone can calm your chaos. They carry peace in their voice, light in their eyes, and compassion in their soul. People feel safer around them. Seen, understood, loved without condition, and without knowing why, wounds start to heal. Their energy lifts heavy emotions, brings clarity to confusion, and gives hope where there was none. It's as if their soul speaks to yours, saying, "You're not alone. You were never broken." But here's what many miss. That same light that comforts also reveals. The light of a chosen one doesn't just soothe, it exposes. It illuminates everything that hides in the dark: lies, manipulation, the ego, the masks we wear to survive. And when that light shines on what's false, it doesn't feel gentle anymore. It feels like fire, because true healing isn't always soft. Sometimes it burns. Sometimes it destroys illusions before it rebuilds truth. So when a chosen one is forced to defend their peace, when their light meets your shadow, it's no longer a calm presence. It becomes a force of divine fire, cleansing, honest, unapologetic. And in that moment, you realize they weren't just a gentle soul. They were a living mirror, a sacred flame. Chosen ones aren't patient because they're weak. They're patient because they understand the sacred timing of the universe. Their stillness isn't ignorance, it's wisdom. They don't rush to react, not because they don't feel, but because they feel everything deeply. And they know, not everything deserves an immediate response. Some things need to unfold. Some truths need space to reveal themselves. When people hurt them, betray them, or test their limits, they don't strike back out of impulse. Instead, they wait. Not to punish, but to give you time. Time to reflect. Time to return to the truth. Time to correct yourself. Because their hope is always for healing, not destruction. But here's what makes their patience so powerful. It's intentional. It has a limit. When the divine moment arrives, when the line has been crossed too many times, their silence turns into something else. A sacred force awakens. And what follows isn't loud, but it's unstoppable. They don't need to scream. They don't need to explain. One decision, one step back, one closed door, and the energy shifts completely. Not because they're cruel, but because the time for grace has passed. And in that moment, the one you took for granted becomes the one you can't reach. When a chosen one is pushed to the edge, what awakens inside them isn't just emotion, it's divine judgment. Because their anger isn't about ego. It's not about control. It's about truth. And when they finally speak after being disrespected, lied to, or manipulated over and over again, what comes out of their mouth sounds less like rage and more like prophecy. Their words don't just express pain, they expose it. They reveal. They cut through illusions with terrifying accuracy. It's as if their soul opens, and something ancient begins to speak through them. Something that doesn't tolerate lies. Something that doesn't care about appearances. Something that burns through everything false. And that's what makes them dangerous, not to the innocent, but to those who hide behind deceit. Their fury isn't loud and chaotic, it's focused, quiet, spiritual. And when it lands, it's unforgettable. People remember that moment, not because they were shouted at, but because for the first time, they saw themselves clearly. Without filters, without masks. That's not human anger. That's sacred justice. a soul responding not to insult, but to imbalance. So when a chosen one finally rises, it isn't revenge. It's a reckoning, a shift in spiritual order. And once that energy moves, nothing remains the same. Chosen ones are protectors by nature. They carry an instinct to shield, to nurture, to stand in the gap when others are vulnerable. If you've ever had one in your life, you've felt it, the sense of safety when they're near. Their energy feels like a shelter, a quiet, spiritual shield that calms even the most anxious soul. But here's what people often forget. They don't just protect others, they protect themselves. They may look soft, open, giving, but beneath that kindness is a sacred boundary, a spiritual line drawn in light. And once that line is crossed too many times, they won't argue. They won't beg. They won't fight for your understanding. They'll simply leave, not out of bitterness, but out of clarity. You see, a chosen one knows their energy is sacred. It's not meant to be wasted on people who drain it, disrespect it, or try to manipulate it. So they retreat, quietly, gracefully, completely. And in doing so, they're not abandoning you. They're returning home to themselves. Their withdrawal isn't an act of war. It's spiritual hygiene. It's the soul cleaning itself from toxic attachment. Because while they are fierce defenders of others, they are also fearless guardians of their own peace. Here's the thing about a chosen one. When they get angry, they don't explode. They evaporate. No shouting. No chaos. Just absence. Just silence. And that silence is where the unraveling begins. You might not feel it immediately, but soon the energy shifts. The peace they brought with them, gone. The clarity they used to radiate, gone. And what's left is a space that feels heavier, more chaotic, harder to breathe in. Because their presence was holding more together than you realized. Their absence isn't revenge, it's revelation. It's the universe saying, now you face what you tried to hide. That's the real power of their anger. It doesn't attack, it reflects. It turns life itself into a mirror. And suddenly, all the noise they never responded to echoes back louder than ever. So if you've ever had a chosen one walk away from you, don't chase the person. Reflect on what their silence is teaching you. Because when they leave, karma doesn't wait. Truth doesn't sleep. And whatever was hidden, it finally comes to light. You can lie with words. You can even lie with actions. But you cannot lie to a chosen one's intuition. They don't just listen to what you say. They feel what you really mean. They read energy like others read expressions. They sense your fears, your doubts, even the lies you tell yourself. To be around a chosen one is to be seen on a soul level. There's no hiding. You might smile, perform, pretend, but deep down they already know. They might not say it out loud, but believe me, they feel it. Every intention, every contradiction, every buried truth you hoped no one would ever touch. And here's the thing, when they do speak, it's rarely to argue or accuse. Instead, with a few carefully chosen words, they shine a light right into your shadow. And suddenly, you're face to face with a part of yourself you've been avoiding for years. That's why toxic people fear them. Not because they're loud or aggressive, but because their presence alone exposes. They don't fight with force. They fight with the truth. And truth is the sharpest weapon there is. Chosen ones are known for their compassion. Their forgiveness runs deep. They believe in second chances, even third and fourth ones, because they see your soul, not just your mistakes. They'll pray for you when others curse you. They'll believe in your healing even when you don't. But listen closely, mercy is not infinite. There's a spiritual threshold, a sacred limit. And once you cross it, once grace is abused too many times, something inside them shifts. A quiet closing of the heart, a peaceful, permanent release. They don't slam doors. They don't burn bridges. They just let go, not out of anger, but out of alignment. When they walk away, the spiritual covering they once offered is gone. The protection, the patience, the prayers, they withdraw. And what's left is you, and the consequences you refused to face. That's when people realize they weren't just dealing with a kind heart. They were dealing with a divine soul. A chosen one doesn't need to speak to shift the atmosphere. Their energy speaks first. When they enter a room, something changes, sometimes quietly, sometimes powerfully. If their soul is at peace, their presence brings calm. People feel safe, seen, and softened. But if their spirit is disturbed, it's like a silent earthquake. Things get shaken, tensions rise, truths surface. It's not about ego, it's about resonance. Their energy mirrors what's hidden around them. It amplifies what's real. That's why some people are drawn to them, and others feel uncomfortable, even exposed. They don't demand attention. Attention naturally flows to them because their energy carries weight. You feel it before you even understand it. You can't fake your way through their presence. Because when a chosen one is around, everything is vibrating at a higher frequency. Let this be a reminder. The chosen one is not weak. They are not naive. They are not easy to manipulate. They're disciplined, spiritually trained, guided by something far greater than themselves. They don't show up in your life by accident. If you've been blessed to know one, cherish them. Their wisdom may challenge you. Their silence may awaken you. Their love may heal you. But their absence will leave a space nothing else can fill. To the chosen ones out there, you are not alone. You are not too intense. You are not too much. You are here for a reason. You are here to remember who you are, and to remind others of who they can become. The light you carry is a fire. It can warm. It can burn. It all depends on how it's awakened. If this message spoke to your soul, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to this channel. Share this video with someone who needs to remember their spiritual power. Your light matters, and together we rise.